businesses. That's what I said.
You said you have supported 10,000 businesses last year. This is what you said. You made a reference to him that he should have taken it.
You said 300 million.
You have to apologize to the viewers that you have come to throw your own figures and you think you want to go with the
yes, you are making
I am saying
for a completely different program.
I am saying that she has said that they have supported 10,000. I'm coming. I'm mentioning three things here. She said 10,000 people have been supported. The gentleman should have taken advantage.
Yeah, but you were mentioning an amount of money.
Two is that she mentioned 300 million has been expended.
For national apprenticeship program.
That is
for national apprenticeship. I'm coming. If it's national apprenticeship, no.
So I apologize to you.
No, I'm coming. For even national apprenticeship, it's a lie. 300 million was an allocation. The actual disbursement for national apprenticeship program was 21 million Ghana. I'm saying that. I'm giving you
from Google.
Viewers,
my source of information
is Google. It's Google.
I don't speak to Google.
Oh, okay. I'll talk to us. Where are you getting this from?
This is the 2025 budget. You understand? 2026 budget.
Yes.
And this is the 2025 budget because as you were talking, I was scrolling through.
Yeah, you're looking at the previous year, the budget for the previous year.
I'm saying that the budget for national apprenticeship program is true. It is 300 million.
Yes.
But when you check the appropriation,
what are we doing here?
Why is it?
Because she never said that. So
she said she mentioned national.
Apologize to her.
Yeah. But you said I mentioned it
even the national apprenticeship program.
What is entirely
the 300 million has not been expended.
Yeah, but
it is only 21 million that was.
That's a different conversation. She's saying that she never mentioned the figures that you.
Absolutely. Which figure did she mention? She said 300 million.
Yes.
She said,
to what program? You were saying that. You said Ejuma. That's what you said.
So I apologize to
quickly tell you to retract.
Just be a gentleman and apologize.
Two things. One is that she said they had supported.
No, don't move away from that. You apologize.
That's a yes.
He's becoming a nuisance to the program.
No, not that.
No, that is
you are lying. Apologize to the two NDC people here. Are you talking about what?
Just say that she never said that. So just retract that and let's.
Okay, so I'm coming.
No, nobody's coming.
They don't apologize.
Awal, just retract.
You don't be a gentleman.
You are disrespecting everybody watching the program. You are telling you to apologize.
Okay, two things.
You are misbehaving.
One is that she's saying that. I don't respond to women because I.
No.
So you have to respond. This is a conversation. So
just make progress.
If not NDC, who put you?
If not
NDC, who put you? Awal, let's make progress.
Awal, let's put you on TV.
Awal, let's make progress.
But she was also
Awal,
she had never been.
You have moved. We've told you to apologize.
Awal, this is what we'll do. Awal, I think your comments were a bit far-fetched. So
when she said I'm misbehaving.
No, Awal.
Of course I'm misbehaving. But lies.
Awal,
but I'm not surprised.
Statement and let's
what
make
should
progress.
I withdraw?
The fact that she never mentioned those figures, and that's not what she was referring to. So let's make progress.
I'm saying that.
So Awal, the question is, do we still have Russia-Ukraine war happening? Is the Russia-Ukraine war ongoing?
That's an unintelligent question.
Oh, that's a stupid answer. That's a stupid answer to me.
But that's an unintelligent.
That is a very stupid answer to me.
Let me bring innocent.
Because if you have people like this asking this question, why did
it shows how
so shallow that he doesn't even appreciate the economic data.
You don't do anything.
When I said we did 24 months, he said, "Hey, inflation." He wrote and couldn't.
Okay, let me hear from you. Yeah. Okay, Ivan, let me hear. Ivan, let me hear from you. Yes.
You come and sit here and refer to.
Ivan, let me hear from you. Yes.
I'm only pointing to you that Russian inflation happening.
Okay.
Inflation is going down.
Ivan,
addressing your mind to that shallow argument. You are
Ivan has a time now. Yes. Ivan, let me hear you. Ivan, let me hear you. Ivan,
I think we need to.
No. We'll not appreciate that on the show. It's solo. Just. Ivan, let's hear. I have heard some members of parliament say that, look, the figure we are mentioning, it's not it's not really impacting people on the market. You've heard some of those points as well.
I've heard it. I've heard also a lot of...
In fact, Awal here is suggesting to us that even the fuel...
Yes, but there could be that disconnect. I mean, we must face it because, you see, Ghana is a consumer market. The person is selling his or her product. He or she is not under any obligation to reduce it. It is for the buyer who is going to buy to, as it were, sample the very market and look at who is selling the same quality at a lower price. That is the first point. Secondly, it must be stated clearly that inflation does not mean reduction of prices. In fact, if there was zero inflation, what it technically means is that the last price that you met will remain same consistently, because inflation is the rate at which prices increases at all material time. Where there is deflation, that is where you would expect prices to be reducing. But we have been saved by the fact that there has been stability in the currency. In fact, the cedi to the dollar has reduced somewhat, and that is what has reflected in some prices of goods and services being reduced. Other than that, the prices at which we left in 2024 should be the same or some marginal increases. And so those that are saying that they are not seeing the impact, they are right that it is not causing huge reductions in prices of goods and services. But that must tell them that if the trend had continued, their lives would have been worse off. We went to inflation.
Which trend are you referring to?
Oh, when Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia took us to 54%, well, you know, in this
Why are you not naming President Akufo Addo administration?
Akufo Addo said he brought Mahamadu Bawumia because he was the economist. He was a wizard. We have been told by the wife that the husband is a wizard, economic wizard. In fact, NAPO has come to tell us that he was the wisest person and still the wisest person in the new patriotic party.
No.
Is that not what he said?
No, he said cabinet.
But cabinet is the creme de la creme of the party. Cabinet is the creme de la creme.
NPP. I mean, you know the NPP is bigger than cabinet.
Cabinet is the creme de la creme. NAPO is telling that he was the wisest person in cabinet, and the wisest person took us to 54%. But what I'm saying is that it is a good thing. The last time I came here, I told you that in Tehran, in Iran, the confusion there has to do with inflation. Inflation at 40%. They are fighting their government. They are causing the government. They want to overthrow the government because inflation is at 40%. Remember what happened in Sri Lanka when inflation got to 52%? They overthrew the government. So we had 54%, but I don't know, Ghanaians have a special way of dealing with matters. We held on to it, we entertained it, and then we moved on. So anybody that discounts inflation in matters may not know what he or she is doing. The other bit is that I have heard a number of people question the basket. But I checked the basket. The basket in using to calculate inflation has been so since 2015. Ever since we did the rebasing. So on that score, nobody. But you see, it's the reason why some of us left the MPP. You have a lot of dishonest people in there that when they know the truth, they decide to do otherwise. In 2013, 2014, you remember Kwaku Annan led a press conference and even questioned those days, Madam Bediatuo, that she was getting the calculation of inflation rates wrong. That is how we bastardize institutions. We must not sit down for anybody to bastardize our institutions. In any case, you can measure the performance of any government based on some of these indices. Are those that are saying that it is not translating into the pockets or reality, saying that we must from henceforth discount inflation figures, exchange rate figures, GDP, international reserve, and so on and so on, so that they tell us how we must measure the government of the day. Beyond the stability of the economy and achieving this 3.8%, the next thing all of us must be clamoring for is how we work more to translate it into each and every home. You see, one of the reasons why people normally do not feel some of this impact has to do with unemployment. The person is already not working. You understand? So whether or not prices go up or down, he doesn't even have money to go and buy anything. So So to such person, when you are telling the person, oh, inflation is 3.8, he or she cannot appreciate because already he doesn't have the money. But if the person was working and receiving salaries every month and knows that the rate at which goods and services or prices were going up has stabilized, and so the very money, mind you, when inflation is going up too, government comes in to increase their minimum wage. So if your minimum wage was increased based on a prevailing interest rate, inflation rate, and that inflation rate has dropped, it means it gives you money, it gives you higher purchasing power. And then you can appreciate it the more. But you can never discount it. We must now then move into the real sectors of the economy. And by real sectors, improve on production. Because if we don't produce a lot of this, and once again, let's also educate people that there are two types of goods that we have in this country. We have imported goods and we have locally produced goods. You hear people say that there has been egg glut, rice glut here and there, but they are not even buying their wares. Now farmers in the northern region and across the country are crying that they have a lot of rice in stock, but people are not buying. They are not buying because they are facing stiffer competition from importers. Now their prices may seem cheaper, but I can tell you if you compare it to imported products, the imported product seems cheaper than the locally produced goods. And it is the reason why, from the United Party's perspective, we believe that there has to be a correlationship between inflation, exchange rate, and interest rate. You understand? Because if your inflation is down, and it is not pushing the interest rate down, you will not achieve the very purpose. So I was very happy to see the Bank of Ghana reduce the policy rate to 15.5%. Even that one, we believe that is still high. Because you are comparing Ghana to your neighboring countries. Ivory Coast is doing 5.25%, Togo is doing 5.25%, Burkina is doing 5.25%. What it means is that if you added the risk profile, you know, when you go to bank to go and borrow, they add something they call risk profile. That looking at you, maybe you are old, you have to add 3. The person producing in Côte d'Ivoire is likely to end up with the production of the very same thing you are producing in Ghana at a lower cost. We all behave rationally. And so when you go to the market and compare two goods and one is cheaper than the other, you are likely to settle on the cheaper one. So we need to do more with our interest rate so that we can achieve the impact of inflation that we all seek.
Awal, you were the one complaining about prices of fuel this morning. I wasn't too sure if it was a complaint or you were just trying to raise some issues with the pricing. But we've heard some MPs also say, look, it's just figures. It doesn't really matter.
Thank you so much. But before that, I will have to set some records straight. It is not true. It's about economy. It is not true that the NDC has spent 300 million in Ejumawura. That is a palpable lie. That is one. Two is that the NDC...
And what's your counter?
I'm coming. The NDC did not even allocate 300 million for Ejumawura. Ejumawura had an allocation of 100 million in the 2025 budget. Again, Ejumawura was launched by the president in Kumasi. As of July, when the finance minister read the mid-year budget, the amount of money that has been advanced to Ejumawura was 34.5 million Ghana cedi. As I speak right now, those who applied for the Ejumawura project, those who applied, it is now that they had closed the portal for them to train them. Ejumawura is not really picking people and giving them money. This is something we started at NEIP. NEIP, when they apply they open the portal, you apply. They close the portal. They go through training and selection. It takes not less than 6 months to do this. We did that, and you have success story in it. There is this young man.
So you're saying it's not possible that by now...
It is not true that 10,000 people have been really employed, 10,000 entrepreneurs had been supported. It's not true.
Okay, well, she has no. If you can clarify.
Yeah, let her clarify.
Maybe.
Let her clarify.
Please, but I want you should have listened to me carefully. Listening is part of the discourse.
Absolutely.
I never said we have allocated 300 million. I said that.
I listened to it.
For the National Apprenticeship Program. Listen carefully.
I'll give you the time.
You always come here.
I said that we've allocated that for the National Apprenticeship Program.
I heard it.
For the Ejuma, we are supporting 10,000 businesses. That's what I said.
You said you have supported 10,000 busines last year. This is what he said. You made a reference to him that he should have taken it.
We have pushed 300 million.
You have to apologize to the viewers that you have come to throw your own figures and you think you want to go with the
yes, you are making a figure.
I am saying
for a completely different program.
I am saying that she has said that they have supported 10,000. I'm coming. I'm mentioning three things here. She said 10,000 people have been supported. The gentleman should have taken advantage.
Yeah, but you were mentioning an amount of money.
Two is that she mentioned 300 million has been expended.
For National Apprenticeship Program.
That is
for National Apprenticeship. I'm coming. If it's National Apprenticeship, no.
So I apologize to your viewers.
No, I'm coming. For even National Apprenticeship, it's a lie. 300 million was an allocation. The actual disbursement for National Apprenticeship Program was 21 million Ghana.
When you are doing this,
I'm saying that. I'm giving you
from Google.
Viewers, don't.
My source of information
is Google. It's Google.
I don't speak to Google.
Oh, okay. Awal, talk to us. Where are you getting this from?
This is the 2025 budget. You understand? 2026 budget.
Yes.
And this is the 2025 budget because as you were talking, I was scrolling through.
Yeah, you're looking at the previous year. The budget for the previous year.
I'm saying that the budget for National Apprenticeship Program is true. It is 300 million.
Yes.
But when you check the appropriation,
what are we doing here?
Why is it?
Because she never said that. Because she never said that. So
she said she mentioned National.
Apologize to her.
Yeah.
But you said I mentioned it
even the National Apprenticeship Program.
What is entirely
the 300 million has not been expended.
Yeah, but
it is only 21 million that was.
That's a different.
Get him to apologize to her.
That's a different conversation. She's saying that she never mentioned the figures that you
absolutely.
Which figure did she mention? She said 300 million.
Yes.
She said,
to what program? You were saying that. You said Ejuma. That's what you said.
So apologize to her.
Tell you to retract.
Just be a gentleman and apologize.
Two things. One is that she said they had supported.
No, don't move away from that. You apologize.
No, he's becoming a nuisance to the program. Why?
Not that.
No, that is
Awal. Apologize to the
two NDC people here.
Are you talking about what?
Just say that she never said that. So just retract that and let's.
Okay, so I'm coming.
No, nobody's coming.
They don't apologize.
No.
Awal, just retract.
He's not being a gentleman.
You are disrespecting everybody watching the program. You are telling you to apologize.
Okay, two things.
You are misbehaving.
One is that she's saying that. I don't respond to women because I.
No.
So you have to respond. This is a conversation. So
let's make progress.
You will not have rebutted.
If not NDC,
Awal, let's make progress.
If not NDC, who put you on TV?
Awal, let's make progress.
But she was also
Awal,
she had never been.
You have we've told you to apologize.
Awal, this is what we'll do. Awal, I think your comments were a bit far-fetched. So
when she said I'm misbehaving.
No, Awal.
Of course you're misbehaving. With lies.
Awal,
but I'm not surprised.
Statement and let's
what
make
should
progress.
I withdraw?
I'm not
the fact that she never mentioned those figures, and that's not what she was referring to. So let's make progress.
I'm saying that.
Just retract that.
I'm still saying that she mentioned that the gentleman should have taken advantage of the 10,000 people.
But you mentioned an amount which
and I'm saying it is not true that they have supported 10,000 people.
You mentioned an amount which she never mentioned. So just
the amount she mentioned, she said apprenticeship.
Yes. So
I admit that she said apprenticeship.
That's
but even with apprenticeship,
you
didn't spend 300 million. They spent 41 million.
So now on the rates we have, you are still complaining about the price.
Don't divert.
Let's go straight to the
yes. So on inflation. I think, yes, we have seen progress. And I think it is something that we anticipate that indeed in 2025 there will be some progress, because when we took over in 2017, the inflation was around 15.4. From 2017 up to January 2022, the highest we recorded was just 13.9. That was the highest we recorded, because it was on a downward trend from 15.4. And we did 24 months of single digits.
Where?
These are the facts.
When?
Between 2018 April, we started with 9.6 up to March 2020, which was 8.7. When you calculate, it is sustained single-digit inflation for 24 months.
At what rate?
24. I said it started from 9.6 and ended at 8.7. These are the facts from Bank of Ghana. You can cross-check. So it's true. In 2022,
yes. What happened?
When we entered 2022 with 13.9, by February, when the Russia-Ukraine hit, it came with inflationary figures that even in the US and UK, they recorded 40-year high inflation within that period. UK had to even change 3 prime ministers within 1 year in 2022. It
wasn't because of inflation.
And these are facts. You understand? Again, these are inflation. Inflation really went high in that year. So we started.
Why are you choosing UK? Why are you not choosing
Cote d'Ivoire? Cote d'Ivoire, yes. Cote d'Ivoire moved from 2 to 7, which is higher,
still
which is about 300%. Yes.
Still in a
yes. Their inflation used to be 1.5, 2%. They moved to around 7, which is higher.
And you moved to 54 eventually?
Yes, we moved to 54. Then we started tightening the monetary policy, because at a point in time when our inflation got to 9.6, we had a policy rate at 13.5. 13.5. Today they are celebrating 15.5. We had 13.5 as at 2021.
So
we started. Yeah, today is 15.5. Yes. So we started tightening the monetary policy so that we'll be able to really control the inflation. So by April 2024, the IMF predicted that 2025 will end in a single digit. That's what the IMF said. So it means if we are to follow through what the government had done to move it from 54 to 23, so if we are following that trend, it means it will get to really 8%. And indeed, this government came and they followed through, because it was under the supervision of the IMF to do that. They followed through. Instead of it ending at 8, it ended around 5.4. But when you do the aggregate of the year, the year was 11% inflation, because when you do the monthly and you do the average for the year, it was 11. What we're seeing is a progress. But you see, the challenge we have here is that you have 3.4%.
Yes.
I keep on saying the government is not spending, and that's the reason you really have
spending on what exactly?
When you check the budgetary allocation for 2025 on capex, the government didn't do up to 50%. On goods and services, the government did instead of 7 points.
Have you seen the big push?
Big push has not really started expanding. I'm talking about not starting project. Which big push project have they started? Which one? Whenever Accra is something that we started, and they are now renaming it to Big Push. You understand? So you see, which project of the Big Push has started? So I'm saying that if you look at what the government is doing, yes, you see that indeed inflation has come down to 3.8. That is really good for the consumer. You and I, when you go and it's really cheaper, you like it.
Okay, well.
They said the main drivers are food. And that is where the danger is. Because today, the problem is that if you go to Tamale, maize that is supposed to be sold at 900 cedis is now 300 and they don't have buyers. If you go to Atebubu, cassava that is sold at 300 cedis, they have reduced it to 100 cedis, they don't have buyers. What it portends is that, what it tells you is that if you're not careful, this year, the farmer will not farm.
Well, people will not farm because...
but he's not selling the produce. He's supposed to sell the produce so that he will be able to really farm again.
I want to find out from Awal, quick one, just to help you. You said the inflation jumped to 13.5% because of Russia-Ukraine. Is that not the case?
No, I said we entered January at 13.9.
No, but
Russia-Ukraine started from 15, which is February, 15.7. Then it moved up to 54. Then it started coming down.
So, the question is, do we still have Russia-Ukraine war happening? Is the Russia-Ukraine war ongoing?
That's an unintelligent question.
That's a stupid answer. That's a stupid answer to me.
But
that's an unintelligent
answer. That is a very stupid answer to me.
Let me bring innocent.
Because if you have people like this asking this question, why it shows how so shallow that he doesn't even appreciate the economic data. You don't do anything. When I said we did 24 months, he said, hey, inflation, he wrote and couldn't.
Okay, let me hear from you. Yeah. Okay, Ivan, let me hear. Ivan, let me hear from you.
Yes. You come and sit here and refer to.
Ivan, let me hear from you. Yes.
I'm only pointing to you that Russia is happening.
Okay.
Inflation is going down.
Ivan,
addressing your mind to that shallow argument that you are
Ivan has a time now. Yes. Ivan, let me hear you. Ivan, let me hear you. Yeah. Ivan,
I think we need to.
No. We'll not appreciate that on the show. It's solo. Just. Ivan, let's hear from you. Ivan.
Yes, I don't.
It's okay.
Yes, Ivan. Yes, right.
I think we need to appreciate what is happening.
Yeah.
If you look at the sort of Ghana we found ourselves in yesterday, and you look at Ghana we are in today, you can appreciate a certain transformation. A lot of things have changed within the economic space, and that is a fact, backed by data, statistics, whatever that you want to put across. Because if you look at the numbers, the inflation numbers is one of them. The debt to GDP is one of them. The CD posting appreciation of about 40% last year is one of them, which according to Bloomberg is the highest in the last 30 years. And Bank of Ghana also dropping policy rates quite recently. These are indicators that in its aggregated form translate into the economy. So if you look at the inflation specific, there is no single market of inflation where you find some sort of uniformity. Because of the market we find ourselves in. So price disparity will always be there, depending on where you shop or where you buy from. That is a fact. But you see, I see a certain trend of narrow appreciation of inflation. When we mention inflation, then everybody look at it in a very narrow line. But you see, if you look at it from a very larger perspective, first of all, inflation does not take retroactive effect. It also progress.
So it doesn't mean that prices are coming down.
Exactly. So it doesn't also mean that it doesn't reflect the past. It reflects the precedent and also prospective. That is what people should appreciate. And the mere fact that inflation is stable does not necessarily mean that prices will come down. You understand? So this is what has to be appreciated. It is about the relative average increment in terms of prices. So the fact that it should be relatively stable so that consumers can plan ahead. That is all that inflation seeks to guide. And again, the other side that people are not also looking at, Bank of Ghana will have to be informed by the microeconomic conditions available. The most crucial one is inflation to determine the policy rate. And again, the reference rate that banks use also depend on the MPR, which is the monetary policy rate, and the same microeconomic condition, which predominantly is inflation. So the banks will have to make credit very cheap. That is one side of it. And then Bank of Ghana lending to banks, commercial banks also be cheaper. That will make credit very cheap and lending very easy. So when that happens, it translates into the economy in so many fronts. If you are able to take advantage of such numbers and such statistics, you are able to create job opportunities and others. So I always don't find it's quite appreciable when people seek to narrow the inflation numbers and its impact on goods and services. And also, when
there are some MPs who are casting doubts over the rates that we have now. There must be an effective, measure in the market when you go there.
Definitely. But you see, it is also determined by supply of goods and demands. The balance also determines.
So the goods are not getting to the market. Is that why you're?
No. You see, depending on who is talking, which market you visited, you understand. I have been to most of the shops and in one of the malls.
For instance, Kenke is being used now.
Yes, and you see, as Ghanaians, we must also accept the fact that that is who we are in our nature. It is very difficult for Awal selling this phone for
to reduce the price.
We always seek to make profit. So the profiteering aspect of businesses has always been part of us.
But that would be a challenge for government now, because you can't force
people to reduce. You understand? So that is where the challenge is. So in as much as people are asking government to ensure there will be a trickling down effect, government will do its part by making sure other aspect of it will have that particular effect. But when it comes to selling of goods, somebody selling Kenke, you can't force the person, put the gun on the person's head. That will have to be a determination that should be done by the individual. You understand? So I think in this thing, it's unfortunate that very often some of these things we throw ourselves into cheap politics. And at the end of the day, the people behind some of these profiteering enterprises get away with it. Because when we sit on TV, you see everybody advancing a sort of partisan argument. We are unable to elevate the conversation beyond the frontiers of partisan politics and come to the realization that this is our social context.
For instance, what Awal is saying, that when you go to the market, you should feel the effect. I mean, that
is how it's supposed to be. That is how it's supposed to be. And again, we are not speaking in a context where inflation has just dropped. We are speaking from a context where the cedi has appreciated considerably. And that should naturally affect prices of goods and services, especially those being imported in this country. And we live in a country where majority of the things we consume come from abroad. But for the average Ghanaian in business, they are looking at the profit they made yesterday and they want to double it or maybe add something up to it. You understand? That is a challenge. So we as people must also take up the challenge and begin to let this thing reflect. Because John Mahama cannot sit in the Jubilee House and say, reduce your Kenke, reduce this because I've done that.
He used it to campaign.
No. He has the right to say that because the conditions. Allow me to speak. He has the right to do so because the prevailing condition that will make that determination has been made available. So it is up to you as a person selling the thing to make a choice. So, but because people want to make extra this thing, they don't want to. And if you go to...
Are we going to force them? And what do we do now? Because the prices have to come down.
It is in a liberal economy. Maybe some measures...
There's nothing we can do.
For me, Akufo Addo,
he can... There is a competition.
Okay, let him land.
There is a competition. If you move to the malls, most of the shop being run by... Let me make...
Okay, let him land.
If you go to those places, you realize and appreciate this kind of decline. Because there was this thing, air conditioning, the last time I checked, it was 6,000. I went back the same time, it was 4,000. You understand? So it means if you go to those sectors, some places
you see the
you understand?
My plantain is going high.
Charlie, will you stop this?
Okay.
Yes, plantain.
You know what?
Plantain is going high.
Why is this time? Let me make a point. So the fact that I'm making is that the point that I'm making is that it is quite hypocritical to seek to suggest that nothing has happened. There has been some sort of appreciation because, like I said, if you look at where we were and look at where we are today, we've made a significant change. You understand?
Ivan, this is what I'll do. Rosman, I know. Rosman, I want to you touch on them. I want to get into the audience, then I come to you so you can respond to some of the concerns, because obviously the point about government not being able to force the prices down, it's an emerging. I'll get you because some of them will have questions for you as well.
So let me just make
I'll come to you. I'll come to you.
In offense,
I'll come to you.
Make a brief submission. Then we get back to the audience.
Okay, I'll come to you. come to you. I'll come to you. I'll give you all the time you need.
Coming from my audience made
no, it will not.
The argument on the inflation.
It's just on the.
I think this is very unfair.
I'll come back to you.
I think this is very unfair.
No, I'll come to you. I'll come to you. Yeah, gentlemen. Yes.
Please.
Yeah, I'll come to you, Rosemond. I'll come to you. Yeah. Rosemond, I'll come to you.
When Miss Rosemond came and then there happened to be an issue about unemployment, I thought she was going to say, oh, Finance Ministry is now operating 24-hour economy, so he should be part of the people that are going to be recruited. But unfortunately, he mentioned something else that it has not materialized at the moment. And then Mr. Chambers,
let's stick to the issues briefly because we don't have all the time. Yes.
Awal administration, he was playing the role of Antoine Semenyo. I think now he's playing the role of Sergio Ramos. He's now trying to conscientize us as to why certain things the president is not it's not in control. But then if you played the role of Antoine Semenyo, you should do the same because you are still the youth activist now. Your role hasn't changed. Now back to the inflation question as to whether I think the government is one way or the other playing the classical role. Okay, let's tackle the money. But then tackling the money doesn't mean that you fix the road that will transport the food from the market, from the farm to the market. If you've not faced that, you can bring the exchange rate to 0.00. But then because you've not faced that particular problem, we'll have egg glut, we have maize being found at, let's say, Wenchi or something. But they will not get those products in the market for people to get. So thank you.
It's not reflecting, as you're saying. Okay, let's go behind. No, give the opportunity to some individuals behind. Yes, you can take.
Thank you very much. I think the UP party is the only party in the opposition who's always attacking another part of the position. And also to Miss Rose.
Yeah, because of time. So let me
go fast. Miss Rose, Miss Rose, this is referring to my brother. He has served really well the party. He has really served the party.
Sure.
And then you said you are all NDC, but you joined NDC a few months to election, and you are benefiting more. And he has served from branch level to 10.
No, what? I mean,
president. And then I'll come back to inflation. No.
Because of time, we don't have.
So now the inflation. Now with inflation. Now with inflation, sir. With inflation. Now with inflation. I think the inflation is going down, but salaries of workers are delayed, and then if money is not circulating, I think we will not feel the effect because people are not having money in their pockets. That's one thing that's affecting us.
All right, Jata, I'll give you the time. Let him land, and then
Mr. Bless, one of the major factors PURC consider in increasing their percentages is inflation and that of stabilization of the dollar. Today is inflation going down. Yes, to a single they get 3.8. Is dollar being stabilized? Yes, it's being stabilized. But are the percentages of electricity, are they high? Yes, they are high.
Up. Yes.
The water we consume today, are they high? Yes. They are talking about galamsey. They say they are fighting seriously against galamsey. Today, one of the major reasons PURC was giving us because of the increment also boils down on galamsey. So basically, what they are saying or the paperwork they are doing does not correlate with what is on ground.
Are you saying you're not feeling the impact of what's happening to this economy?
Yes. Yesterday, KK I used to buy at 4 Ghana cedis.
The forex.
I really wanted to quickly address KK I used to buy at 4 Ghana cedis. Yesterday night, I went to buy the same KK at 7 Ghana cedis. Not in the mall, at my area in Pukase. All I want to say.
But late last year, how much were you buying the KK for? Late last year?
4 cedis. I'm being honest with you.
He had a big upside yesterday.
Mr. Solomon made a good point. Mr. Solomon made a good point. I'm Pukase. Mr. Solomon made a good point today outside with him that unemployment is one of the reasons why people are not feeling the inflation reducing. And that's true. And that is why I commend my brother.
Jata.
I commend him. He's an NDC member. No, let me commend him. He's an NDC member, but he was bold enough to come on air to speak about the 24-hour economy. And I was expecting Miss Rose to tell him very soon we are going to roll out the 24-hour economy. And she said she will meet him after this program to advise him. That's good. That's good.
You don't have to downplay.
No, I'm not going to do that. That's good. But all I know is that he has been with his party. He knows them. He has been with her for some time now. And when she meets her outside, I think she rather has to take advice from him
Jata
about the party she's joining.
Jata, because Jata, you're always. Why did you?
This is a young humble boy. With your
Jata, let's hear you. Yeah.
Why did you form? Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So let's hear from him.
Thank you very much, Blessed. A lot has been said, but I think Awal has taken me out of context. It is just so prudent that I address the issue. So first and foremost, unemployed teen graduates network does exist, not to create an agenda or an impression against the government with regards to unemployment. As a matter of fact, unemployment is a long existing issue in this country. And as a matter of fact, unemployment in 2024 is somewhere around 14%. In 2025, by 2025 as we speak, unemployment is somewhere around 12%. There is an appreciable decrease in unemployment. And one of the reasons why currently we are still facing or trapped in the unemployment, clue is because there was a government that existed and failed to create opportunities for people.
Awal was at the youth employment.
They didn't do anything.
They did nothing.
Okay.
Because they spent $58 million in creating a pit, while they could have created an avenue for young people like us to make meaningful contribution to the country. So this group exists to encourage our members that the problems we are facing has nothing to do with the John Dramani Mahama government. Actually, what we exist to do is to share opportunities to our members. We discuss, we share opportunities.
So it's a networking platform.
It's a networking platform. It's a networking platform.
But why did you
over 200 members?
But why did you form this long ago?
You didn't form something. No, Tain. We are all from Tain. We are all from Tain. Tain is the network that we formed that existed in tertiary. So when we graduated and now we are unemployed, we just gathered ourselves and we named it Unemployed Tain Graduate Network. So that is all what it's about. And as a matter of fact, it is better to be unemployed in the NDC than the NPP because they have created systems which have made life much more easier.
Now you've provided context to why
much more easier.
I see. Let me give the opportunity to the gentleman from Winneba. Today he feels... Today he feels different. But yes, are you feeling the impact? Transport, we understand, there's some challenges there.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bless. Yourself and the panel and our audience, good morning. The plan wasn't to speak today, but the opportunity has been given. So, as it relates to inflation, I to an extent have not seen the impact really trickling down to all of us because yes, prices that used to sell at a certain rate some years back haven't gone down. So basically, that means that the inflation reduction that we see is not really reflecting in the prices of goods and services. But that is really what the case should be because inflation reduction does not necessarily mean that prices are reducing. It really goes to show the rate of increase. You get it? So it shouldn't be an...
There was this MP who went to Parliament with cooking oil and rice. Yes. These two, the prices are down. You agree?
Well, I wouldn't say yes or no because I have not made my personal research on that. But if that is the case, of course, we would all have to be happy about it. So that's what I want to say.
So let's listen to Rosemond, because all of you have channeled your concerns, and it looks like unemployment, as Jata is raising, has also come up again. So how is government intending to drive down the prices? Because now you're not able to control the businesses, to tell them that reduce your prices.
I think that it is indigenous to say that prices have not reduced. Let's be fair. Let's be fair in this conversation. Prices have reduced. And the whole idea of the inflation, let me take the reverse of what they've said. The rate at which things used to increase in the Awal government, every single day, sometimes you go to the market, you are stuck at the market because you go in the morning, the price is going to be different from the afternoon. It's going to be different from the evening. That is what we used to experience. But now if inflation is 3.8, you know that I'm going to the market in the morning, I have a price in mind, and I can purchase that. I'll have a purchasing power because inflation is at 3.8%. Anybody who seeks to say that the figure or the indicator is just symbolic is not being truthful. Let's be fair to ourselves. We all go to the pumps. The fuel has reduced, even with those who don't have their own cars, transport fares decreased by 15%.
When?
This was last year.
Please don't interrupt. You see, listen to me, please. You see,
yes, so just why? Oh, but
am I lying?
Am I lying through your
He just doesn't want me to.
You have your time to rest. You have your time to rest.
I am not lying, please.
Okay, you have your time.
Transport fares decreased by 15%.
Okay.
And we have even encouraged GPRT to encourage the because we know that some people would always be involved in rent-seeking behaviors and would not want to conform to the gains we are making. So we can always encourage them. There was a time that the Committee for the Economy in Parliament called Guta that people, that time the inflation was around, yes. Minister. No, they were called to Parliament. Yes, well, because there was a need to reconcile the gains we had made with the inflation rate, with the expenses. And they responded to Parliament's call and said that let's put the list of about 4,500 items. And they were able to defend the cost with the items months ago versus what we were experiencing. That was even last year. And that is glaring. That is there for everybody to see, from the prices of cement, the prices of roofing sheets, the prices of simple commodities. So if you decide to say that you're not seeing anything, then you are trying to have a certain level of amnesia, being very selective in the gains we are enjoying. So now the question now is, how does the gain trickle down so that the ordinary Ghanaian, who perhaps is not looking at building a home, who is not looking at renting, who is just looking at the food basket, how can I ensure that my rice, my cooking oil, my kenke, my chicken,
it's good you're talking about the kinky, for instance.
No,
the kinky politics. You see that the prices
So if I land, then it would be dovetailed into the answer you are seeking for. You understand? So that is where the argument has been. But the general, atmosphere or what we are enjoying now is a refreshing one. And let's be fair. You can't say something is black when it's white. Things have indeed reduced. Now,
what
will we do as a government to ensure that the prices really reflect, especially when it comes to food inflation? Because there was a time food inflation was about 61%. There was a time even general inflation, that was what he was even trying to run away, it was about 54.1%. And so what it meant was that when you go to the market in the morning and you go in the afternoon, there's a possibility that the price could increase about 54.1%. And that was during the days of doom. Imagine if not for John Mahama's government and the NDC. And we still lived in that era, even until the time we took over the inflation rate from 23.8%. Were you going to be okay with yourself that you go to buy an item, it could increase to about 23.8%? That is a rhetorical question for all of us to ponder. And so it is for us to appreciate the gains we've made and encourage the government and have that assurance that we're going to do more. And now there's a need in terms of our food commodities. That is why a government thinking outside the box thought about, areas within the agri sector. Feed Ghana initiative. We have, at the moment, the Kweku project that they ridicule. We've supplied about 3 million beds. Is this not a government thinking outside the box? Because we were importing about more than about $400 million to import chicken just for our consumption. You get it? But now we have been cushioned with the Kweku project. Even we have the the farmer services centers. We have supplied them with about 400 equipment to ensure that the agri sector moves to its peak so that we can take advantage of the lower food basket. And this can only be
when you do that,
outside
bringing them to urban areas, Accra and the others, is becoming a challenge. Why?
Yes, so it has to do with the issue of road network. They told us some time ago that they constructed about 10 kilometers of road. And that was just a slogan. That was just a slogan. You understand? Yes, that was just a slogan. Unfortunately, it took the NDC government to say that by 2 years' time. And the president even apologized to us that, our major roads, in fact, Ghana is going to be a construction site.
Yeah, I've heard them
because we have a major road challenge. Contrary to what we were told, we were fed with lies. But we came to see that no, that was not the case. So if our road network is granted, definitely it's going to affect the food chain when we need to bring the foodstuffs from the rural areas. So these are things that, looking at it from a broader perspective, we need to be looking a lot at it. And to conclude my submission, anybody seeking to say that prices have not reduced in any form is not being truthful. Let's be truthful.
Okay. Awal, let's be truthful.
Yes, so it is true that as I admitted that indeed some commodities had come down. I mentioned it. I even mentioned maize and I mentioned beans and cassava. That indeed it has come down. But you see, the problem is that the farmer is crying that he doesn't even have the buyer. I used to have a farm in Afram Plains. This is within the time that we sell what we had done last year. Then by February, March, the rain will start coming. Then we'll be able to really till the land. So now you are not even selling the produce. The reason is that the government has taken the disposable income of the Ghanaian. If you read the budget, in the 2026 budget, they said Bank of Ghana has done open market, the sterilization that they are doing. They have taken 62 billion in sterilization.
So that translates to that translates to taking
yes, the purchasing power of the Ghanaian, because you see they are saying that because they wanted to tighten this inflation, they engage in sterilization, which means they had given
do you
people.
ever go to the bank and you're not able to draw down your cash?
I didn't say draw down. I'm saying that they have given incentives for people to put their monies there through bills and so on. That is the sterilization that they had taken. And again, Ato Forson,
you're talking about purchasing power.
Yes, I'm saying that the purchasing power of the Ghanaian has really been taken from him, because Ato Forson told us that Bank of Ghana did sterilization and took 62 billion from the open market so that they will be able to control inflation.
About money in circulation?
Yes, the money in circulation I'm talking about.
From purchasing power, isn't it?
No, I'm saying that, but when you take the money in circulation, what happens? The purchasing power comes down. The money is in circulation. And you have taken the money in circulation. How will the person get money to
let's all agree.
That is one. Two is that someone like Jatta, I'm coming.
I ask you the question. Have you ever been to the bank and any of the banks has told you that you can't draw down your cash?
I didn't say that.
Yeah, so where's
I'm saying that money in circulation is what is used to buy the goods and services, right?
Well,
now the government is saying that we have taken a lot of money in circulation. So who will buy the goods and services?
That's a fiscal policy.
Yes. So that was saying that the fiscal policy is affecting the farmer. That is why the reason the farmer from 900 is coming to 300. Now I'm coming.
That's why I'm asking you the question. You have to answer that question for me. Have you ever been to the bank and any bank has told you you can't draw down how much you
I
save?
answered that. So let me continue my.
I'm sure. Can you answer that question for us?
I'm saying that there is money in circulation. Bank of Ghana is saying that the money in circulation is driving inflation.
Yes.
So they had started a mop-up.
Yes,
the mop-up. Yes, the mop-up. Yes. So that they will be able to take a lot of money in circulation.
Yes.
I'm saying that money that has been taken in circulation is not really giving people opportunity to spend.
And I'm saying that your savings. I mean, I'm
not talking about individuals. I'm not talking about individual savings. Someone will think.
But how do you purchase?
Initially, I'm coming. So they will do this and I will not allow anyone to talk here.
No, that's not.
I'm telling you.
No, that's
they will do this and no one will see.
I'm asking you a question. Just answer my question for me. I'm asking you a question. Answer the question for me. If I want to purchase kinky now, I would go into my Momo wallet or maybe my bank account to take money.
So there are people
and then purchase. No, I'm trying to break it down so everybody follows us. Have you ever been to the bank lately and any of the banks or your Momo wallet, MTN says you can't take your cash?
No, I haven't.
So how is
there are people who will go to Drobonso and buy maize and keep it from the farmer. They will keep it. When it's expensive, they sell. Now the government is giving them an incentive that you don't necessarily have to buy that. Come and buy bills. When you buy the bills, you get more security. So these people are not doing it because of the incentive the government is doing. Blessed, you will not allow me even do my submission.
Yeah, but okay.
That is one. Two is that someone like Jatta, who is unemployed, if today inflation is even 1, and a bag of rice is even 10 cedis, you still will not be able to buy it.
How do you know?
The government, the government has not been able to employ a single. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this?
Because your point.
No one will talk on this platform. I'm telling you. No, if you are, is he a host or what?
Just land on your point. Yeah, land on your point because
just I'm saying that in the last 1 year. In the last 1 year.
Yeah.
In the last 1 year.
We don't have time. Just land.
Why?
Just land.
In the last 1 year, the government in the last 1 year, the government has not engaged a single nurse or a teacher.
Okay.
In the last 1 year, the teachers who had worked for 1 year were paid only 1 month.
Okay.
The nurses were paid only 1 month.
We don't have time.
So unemployment is the bane today. So the person who is unemployed, even if it is 100 cedis, will not be able to pay to afford it.
Okay.
That's the point.
I think mopping up excess CD from the system is not a way of taking away purchasing power because if you look at 2022 when inflation was around 54, it was because Bank of Ghana was turned into a printing press and they were just printing cash into the system, and that gave rise to the sort of inflation numbers that we had at the time. You understand?
Not correct.
That is correct.
That's not correct.
That is correct.
That's not correct.
For a single year.
We tightened monetary policy from 30.5 to 25.5. This is what we did to be able to
we are on TV. We are not sitting on the roadside.
Okay. So when I was making my submission, we were on the roadside.
We are on TV.
When I was making my submission,
hold on. We are on TV. Okay, I understand. So that is a bit about it. So my point is that, you see, let us not sit here and play the ostrich. Because the kind of economic playbook that is playing out now will also war investors. Because we are also looking at the other side of it. Because if you don't believe in the statistics that is being channeled by the Ghana Statistics so far as inflation is concerned, if you go to the rating agencies out there, they are already writing their books about Ghana's economy. It tells you that something has happened. So why don't you appreciate it and make sure that we move on from there? You understand? So that if you go to America today, the inflation rate is quite low, but there is disparity in terms of prices across board. So that uniformity, you will never have it. Do you understand? So for me, as a Ghanaian, my concern is that in the past, Ghanaians were in serious hardship. Now there is this sort of this thing that is happening, and I want Ghanaians to take advantage of it. For me, that's my major concern. You understand? By your voodoo analysis and this kind of economic it's not anywhere. It's just a conjecture you are all trying to make us.
They just sent me a message that.
Oh, teachers?
Yeah, teachers in Tempani Secondary School.
Okay.
Temsec.
Okay.
They say they are so much disappointed, particularly the economics teachers, with what Awal has done this morning. If you want to mop up excess liquidity from the system, you don't reduce the policy rate. In fact, it would have been the reverse. The Bank of Ghana would have increased the policy rate so that
I mentioned, I said we tightened it from 13.5 to 25.5.
Did I say we reduce it? You say the government
took me out of context.
Just land from.
I said we tightened it.
When he's called, he moves.
You be honest to yourself.
The truth of the matter is that. The truth of the matter is that there is much being done by this administration. Let me tell you, I'm an opposition person. Okay. But when you're an opposition party, you have to be responsible. You don't criticize for criticizing sake. I have said time with that number that there will be a time that we will have an opportunity to criticize the NDC. First of all, this administration came into power. The Auditor General has not even brought its first report. Based on the first report of the Auditor General, that you can even begin to identify the sort of expenditure that took place in the various sectors of the economy. So this struggling to find fault when there is snap. Appreciate that indeed if the indicators are good, the government is doing something. We must rather encourage them to continue because it's not in the interest of you and I for this administration to fail.
It's not helping Jatta, who is unemployed.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.